Hi there, I'm Carl Prizzi, Senior Vice President of Product Management at Bridgeline. Now, some of you may know me out there. I've actually been with Bridgeline for about 16 years now, working on the services side of the organization for a majority of those years, managing the delivery operations out of our New York office. I then transitioned over to the business development team as Vice President of Solution Architecture for about 3 years or so, working to scope out solutions and engagements for prospects and clients. And just this past January, I've moved over to our product management team, where I now oversee our product roadmap, our strategy, and vision. So it's a very exciting time for me here at Bridgeline, since I've always provided feedback and suggestions to the product team, and with my architecture and design background, as well as my experience working on client implementations, I really hope to make an even greater impact on our products going forward. And one of my goals is to work more closely with you, our customers, to gather additional insights on how our products are servicing you. It's important that we continue to understand your needs and expectations in managing your customer experiences and have that influence our product roadmap. I, along with everyone at Bridgeline, highly value our client partners and truly appreciate your feedback. So that being said, I'm very excited to show you some of our latest features that will be released to our SaaS production environment on April 15th. Before I demonstrate the features, I'd like to provide you with a quick update on our product roadmap and highlight some of the upcoming functionality that's slated for the coming months. So let's get to it. Alright, so taking a quick look at some of the upcoming features within our next two releases. So again, on April 15th, we'll be releasing a new marketing dashboard, basically be an aggregate view of all the activity that you have going on within Marketeer, everything from your email campaigns to your automation flows and audience lists, basically seeing the performance and growth over time right from the dashboard. In addition to that, we also have our marketing automation flows. We'll be enhancing those to incorporate some additional actions and reactions that you can utilize when building out your flows. And then from a content management standpoint, we'll be providing for previews of those content items before actually embedding the content asset in the page. Within the site editor, you'll have that preview functionality. In addition to that, we'll have some form updates for including reCAPTCHA settings on lead and contact forms. And finally, we're also addressing some email processing improvements. We've heavily invested in overall monitoring of the processor and increased deliverability. We're also providing some options there to batch and send emails based on time zone. So again, that'll all be available come April 15th, and we'll actually preview some of that today. In addition to that, wanted to provide you with a quick update as far as what's coming in July. So first off, some A/B testing incorporated for both email and landing pages, serving up different variations of emails and pages to really test different variants with your end users. We'll also provide for a new WYSIWYG editor that'll be available for providing better flexibility for inline editing and formatting of your content, and just overall better consistency in style sheet. We also will be addressing ADA compliance with our form builder specifically, as well as some content definitions. Make sure we're addressing some best practices there in rendering those form elements and embedded images. And finally, we have our overall just ongoing user experience enhancements that we'll be making to the platform over time. Each quarter we'll be releasing improved enhancements to the interfaces just to make sure that it's a very efficient and streamlined process for our content editors. All right, and then looking a bit further out in the year, we have some additional highlights to focus on. And first off is incorporating Google AMP pages, basically the ability to serve up a lighter version of the page using the Google AMP technology, and really for addressing a mobile experience, right? So, we're looking to incorporate Google AMP later this year. In addition to that, we'll be integrating with Yext for basically those multi-site management instances where we have multiple locations, and this solution is great for managing all that location data, all the reputation around that, and making sure there's consistency. Things like your address information, services that you offer, hours of operation, right? So managing that data integrity across all the different listing providers that are out there. You know, all the providers like CitySearch and Yellow Pages, etc. This platform allows you to manage all that in a central location. We also have an overhaul of our analytics solution, so we'll be incorporating a BI solution there for more robust dashboarding and reports. So taking a look at that as well later this year. We'll also be expanding upon our CRM integration. So right now we have Salesforce integration. We'll be expanding and taking a look at Sugar CRM as well as Dynamic CRM in the future here. All right, and just taking a quick look at the roadmap visual here, you can see that it's been redesigned, and we're incorporating the color coding, just the legend at the bottom there, so you can really see the impact from a product standpoint. Again, in the April release, you're seeing a lot of orange and blue, so that's basically Marketeer and Content Manager. A lot of enhancements around those two. The green is Commerce, so you can see we're addressing some commerce functionality here over time. And then again, looking at July, what's upcoming in July here. So again, every single quarter we'll have new releases of functionality, and that's outside of the monthly patch releases. So every month we're doing patches, and then each quarter we're rolling out new functionality. All right, and one more thing to address from a roadmap standpoint is our quality improvement program. So we're heavily investing in the quality of the releases that we put out there. And historically, it's been a very manual process from a quality assurance standpoint, and we're looking to do more automated testing. So we're including an automated testing framework. We have a lot of the scaffolding in place right now, and starting some automated testing overall for all the new releases going out. And this will expand over time, over the course of the year here. We'll, of course, continue to grow this out, and our end goal is to make sure that we're always providing quality releases and functionality every single quarter. All right, so at this point, we're going to jump into the live demonstration, and I'll show you some of the features that are coming on April 15th. So today I'll be showing you all the latest features available within the April 2017 release of iApps. So the first one is our Marketeer dashboard, right? So this is a new view that we have available within Marketeer. When you first log into Marketeer, this is what you get, right? So you're seeing all the high-level activity that's going on within Marketeer, all the different audience lists that you have set up, your flows, your email blast, all the different forms that you've created or landing pages. And what's great is you can actually hover over these, and it's actually a little menu as well. So you can create a new asset from there or manage the existing assets. Right, so some nice high-level stats of everything that you have going on. Then we also have all the different contacts that are in the system currently. So this site has over 405,000 contacts in the system. We can also see the average lead score across those contacts. In this case, we don't have any lead score tracking configured on this site specifically, but I can toggle over to another one and show you here. So we are tracking, we can track lead score and have this number increment over time. And this is, again, the aggregate lead score across all of our contacts. And then finally is a new feature called flow conversion. And that's actually something that we can trigger within our automation flows now. So in order to determine whether something is indeed considered a conversion, we're able to define that within our flows. So I'll show you that in a bit here. So below that is our some high-level activity around our recent email blast. So you can see this little interactive chart here. I can see all the different opens and delivered items, the click-through rates, etc. And to the right of that, we're seeing our activity around our top audience lists and the ability to see the contact growth over time, and in addition, the average lead score there. And then to the right of that is our activity calendar. In our previous dashboard view, this was a bit buried, and this is really a great feature. It shows you all the activity that's going on at any given point in time on any certain date here, so you can see all the different automation flows or campaign emails that are set up here. So a helpful tool, and really made that front and center in this new dashboard, right? So to let the marketer know everything that have going on in a given day. All right, so further down we have our high-level activity performance. So you can see across really these three segments of flows, email blasts, and forms, all the different activity that's going on there for each of those. So if I want to look at an independent flow, I can click on that and see the activity over time. I have these nice interactive graphs and charts here. You see I can change out the duration as well, so I can look at the current month and quarter, or last month and last quarter, and also year to date as well, and toggle the view there. Right, so really seeing the high-level performance of these different email blasts or flows and forms within the system. And something to keep in mind, this is V1 of our dashboard, and as you can see, it's a big improvement over what we had previously. We still have the ability to view the activity of anything that's going on here from an email blast standpoint. So you can see here we have the tab view that was available historically. That's available within this view here now. Okay, so at this point we'll show you how to increment these two numbers here, right? So we have our average lead score and our flow conversions. So lead score, it's a powerful feature, allows us to increment a score based on an end user interacting with us, right? So if they're filling out forms, if they're opening emails, etc., we can actually increment a score and define them as a warmer lead than somebody that's not engaging with us. All right, so want to make sure that you're using lead scores throughout your automation flows. In addition, we have our flow conversions. Again, that's a new metric that we have available at the dashboard here. It allows a marketer to really define what is a conversion in their mind, right? So in our flows, we can define when that conversion gets triggered. So we'll go ahead and navigate into our flows. I'll go ahead and create a new automation flow. We'll get this set up here. We'll just define just a group here, give it a name. And so you can see here on the right hand side we have our start date and time. We can have this start on, say, Monday at 7:16. I can go in and change the exact time if I wanted to. And I can also, you'll notice now that this is no longer a required field. The end date is no longer required. So I can have a flow that just runs on forever until I deactivate that flow, right? So that's a new feature that's available now. So I'll go ahead and create the flow. And we're presented with our flow builder. I'll just go through a typical scenario here. Say if a user fills out a form, right, and then we want to handle a series of reactions. We'll go ahead and assign it lead points. Right, so this is the lead points I was talking about. If they fill out that form, maybe we give them 10 points, right? So again, this will increment that number on the dashboard. We can also add them to a list. We have a new feature for notifying the contact owner, an individual, as opposed to a group, right? So I think historically we had notifying the sales team. In this case, we can get down to an individual attribute assigned to the contact. So if we want to do lead assignment and then be able to notify that contact owner that that lead has taken some sort of action on the site, we can do that with this function now. And then you can see here we have triggered conversion, right? So we basically can say, all right, if they filled out that form, we've done all these other reactions, this is going to be considered a conversion. And this will allow us to increment that number that's on the dashboard and some other reports in the future. All right, and then of course I can go in here, put in time delays, I can send out a follow-up email, assign contact attributes, all the great reactions that we've had here in the past. One more new action that we have is, you'll see we have user opted in for emails. So since I'm here, I'll talk about that. This will allow us to basically handle a double opt-in scenario, right? So if they filled out a form, we also want to make sure that they've opted in for email communications in the future, right? So if they have, then we can go ahead and send them emails, assign them to a list, etc. If not, of course, then we can remove them from a list or not trigger anything to happen. Maybe perhaps notify a contact owner, right, if they did not opt in for an email. So again, just another action that we can trigger there based on the user's engagement on the site here. All right, so that covers all of the new features from an automation flow standpoint. And at this point, we'll move on to content definition preview. So we'll jump over into Content Manager. Okay, so now we're in Content Manager, and I'll show you our new function for the content definition preview. And now for those developers out there, you can basically manage the preview asset within the content definition library. I can browse all my different content types and essentially go into our properties and upload a preview image here. Right? So in this case, I've uploaded this accordion.png, and I'm seeing the actual preview, what that looks like here. I'll show you one other example. I can go into Edit Properties for the feature 1x2, and here's the actual preview image. Right? So I've created these thumbnail images and just uploaded them to the actual content items. And then now when I'm in the site editor itself, I'm presented with those previews. Right? So if I want to go in here and replace this banner, for example, or maybe this 4 feature block with a 1x3. Right? So I'll go in here and say Create New Content Definition. And I see I have my different features available. I'll look at the 1x3, and now you'll notice I have a preview button here, right? So you can actually see what that looks like in context of the editor before committing to actually populating this and seeing, the end result of it. So definitely a nice, helpful feature. Saves some time in trying to find the right content item to actually work within the page. So that's that. And as far as the form enhancements, we do have some updates from a form library standpoint. I'll show you that real quick. Actually, since I'm in the editor, I'll go into an inline form. And we have an embedded form on this page. You can actually see the captures already there, but I'll just show you how it looks. When we go to edit the form, you basically just have the ability to check off whether or not you want to require CAPTCHA to submit the form, and it basically assigns it as the last element in the form, right? So that's for lead forms. It's handled a little bit differently for some of the regular forms in the system. So we'll take a look at our forms library here. And I'll show you the other example of just a regular contact form. Let's see, here's our submission form. All right, so we'll show you that here. I'm going to edit the form, and you can see here it's actually a field, right? So we have our CAPTCHA field. We've already dropped it in here. But if I want to go ahead and remove it, I can do that. Drop it in. That's basically how you're assigning Google reCAPTCHA to the form for a traditional form versus a lead form. Okay, so now I'll highlight the last feature here for batch processing emails, right? And this is really applicable to those multi-site organizations, whether it be a brand network or a franchise organization, where they have multiple locations, so they're geographically based, and each of those locations want to send out campaigns to their local audience at a specific time zone, right? So we have site attributes where we can configure the time zone setting, and then we can utilize that setting for batch email processing, right? So we'll go ahead and take a look at where that setting resides. When we go into emails campaigns here, we'll manage our email blast. I'll take a look at just an existing one that we have set up here. This is in a draft state. We'll go ahead and edit that one. And I'll just jump ahead to schedule email send, right? Let's assume that we already have this all formatted, ready to go. And you can see here under time zone, we can either specify a single time zone, or again, the fact that this is a multi-site and multiple marketeer instance setup, we can say let's use the primary site time zone and attributes. So it'll pick up the site attribute time zone setting, and we'll batch send based on the time that we specify here. All right, so that covers the high-level features of what will be available come April 15th in this new release. Be sure to check the detailed release notes for more information on not only what we covered today, but some additional patch information as well.